unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time.
Do you feel lucky? Do you feel lucky? Are you lucky? What about a person who wins the lottery? They lucky? What about a really handsome person born with very symmetrical features? They lucky? How about someone born with parents who get along, who stay together and love each other, who work out their differences in a calm and reasonable fashion, who love their children? Is that lucky? What if you're born with lots of different challenges? What if you're born blind? Is that lucky? Was Ray Charles lucky? What about Stevie Wonder? What about that? Luck. Is that luck? Is that bad luck? What is luck? Sounds to me like luck. It's just a word for random happenstance. What else is lucky? It's hard to define what luck is. People excel for such weird reasons. And it's oftentimes the barriers placed in front of you that create the environment and the situation wherein you overcome it and then excel in spite of your, air quotes, bad luck. Who is lucky? Think about it. Who is lucky? To me, and I've said this millions of times, it seems like if you just look mathematically, if you look at the random happenstance, which is what luck is really about, even like in Vegas, it's the odds. When the odds are against you, and yet you are able to accomplish whatever it is, whatever goal it is or outcome you desire, against all odds, that seems like luck. But is it luck if you were trying? Or is it only luck if you're not trying? If you buy lots of, lottery tickets and you win, is that luck? There's a little bit of luck in there, right? But what if you don't buy any and you win it anyway? That seems pretty lucky. Anyway, if you're born, if a sperm and an egg meet and a fetus is formed and it finishes gestating to completion and emerges from another human being, that's unfathomably lucky. What happens after that point? I can't imagine any odds that will happen after that point that are more stacked against that happenstance. The odds of that happening successfully in this universe, in this observable universe, when you break down what a sperm is and what an egg is, just molecules and just the matter involved in them are so tiny and you look at all the matter in space, and the fact that those little items, those little tiny atoms, formed that sperm and that egg, and they came together successfully, the odds of those atoms against all the other atoms in all the other matter in the universe happening are unfathomable. So, how are you not lucky? How is anyone not lucky? What possible circumstances could you be given after that unfathomable luck, that win, that victory, that you emerged and became a conscious being? What possible hurdle, what possible circumstance of bad luck could ever refute that good luck? This is a real question. I'm not trying to pull a switcho-change-o on you, but perspective is very important if you're going to talk about luck. If you're going to talk about the odds, you kind of got to take the whole thing into consideration, don't you? Can you really isolate one bad luck incident? I don't know if you can. Well, I won the gold medal in the Olympics, but I had a cold sore. It's a bad example, terrible example. There's a lot of work goes into winning the gold medal. And by the way, there's not even any luck there. I mean, it's like, who said once I was in a conversation like this and they brought up the very salient point that, I know who it was. It was my friend, Casey. He said the winners of a race only represent those who showed up to the race. It's a good point, The person who wins any given race doesn't mean they're the best runner. It just means they're the best of the people who showed up to run in the race. That intent, means something. And you could probably say that about anything. The best singer probably isn't the person who we all think of as the best singer, the one we all know. Anyway, let's stick with luck. Intent means something. I bring this up because yesterday I got into a conversation, and I've noticed this a lot lately, where a lot of people seem to resent the notion of luck. And I kind of understand it because I sort of do too. It doesn't make me feel good when somebody diminishes my efforts by calling me lucky. When I've taken certain risks and gone through certain pains and set my mind to something for a long time and put aside other things that might be more enjoyable, when I've put all that stuff aside and set out on a goal and then accomplish that goal, to have somebody else pass it off as luck feels kind of like an insult, And the converse of that is true as well, that if you think of my accomplishment as luck, I can understand why you would resent it. For example, let's say a person went out and worked hard and they took some risks and dealt with a bunch of bullshit to build a company. And this is certainly not me, by the way. But let's say you're Jeff Bezos, who is on everybody's lips, everybody's critical of him. Everybody's got an opinion of him, and he's judged by this billions of dollars of net worth. He cheats on his wife anyway, and she takes half. I mean, to just go, what a lucky guy, or to resent him, it's just like, no, but the things that he has to do, the decisions he has to make in his life, are mostly decisions that I have not made and would not make because they don't even seem pleasant or congruent with a happy life. They seem like sacrifices to me. And I think that way about anybody who achieves high spectacle. The things, the sacrifices they have to make. And of course, some people will say, but fame is such a wonderful thing. And you hear a lot of famous people saying they would never trade their fame in. Well, of course, that's the values that they have. They have those values, yet for the most of humanity, most people don't have an interest in that. You don't hear about the people who don't have interest in fame, because part of fame, it favors those who seek it. So the camera is most often pointed at somebody seeking the camera. But what I'm talking about is the resentment of the luck. Oh, he's famous, and and this is a person talking that secretly wants to be famous, but they're not. That person's just lucky, and then they resent that person's luck. Because in their mind, that person didn't do anything to earn that. I heard the term, somebody used the term on my Facebook wall about Trump. He's been failing upwards for years. And I don't think they said it there was no tongue-in-cheek there. It was a serious thing. Like somebody probably introduced that term to them in a humor. Like somebody probably put that together, that chain of words together for some humor a long time ago, but then somebody else grabbed it on, and somebody thinks, oh, well, that's a valid concept. I'll use it. It's like, no, that's a joke. Failing upwards is a joke, because is it though? At birth, are we all failing upwards? Could somebody say, your birth is a failure, now you have to deal with this existence, oh, now you have to work. If you were never born, you'd never have pain. And this is a legitimate position that a lot of people take, that life itself is unlucky. So now we're just into, attitude. Glass half full or glass half empty? Is being born the most unlucky set of circumstances ever? Because you're going to experience pain. If you're a living organism, you're going to experience pain. There's no way to avoid that. Maybe there's a set of circumstances wherein somebody is born without pain receptors. I don't know, but don't they die in a fire very quickly? If you don't have pain receptors, don't you just light your own arm on fire while you're lighting the stove? And then you're done. You need that pain. That pain is what steers you and keeps you safe. I'm rambling about luck. And aren't you lucky to hear it? Wherever you are, one of the 3 people who listen to this podcast. But let's get back to the resentment. I haven't yet met a socialist or a communist who didn't seem deeply rooted in a resentment for the perceived luck of others. And that's really kind of where it comes down. They see it as luck. They don't see it as anything else. And for me, to be able to isolate these elements to really resent in others as lucky, to me, it seems to signify that they're unable to see luck for what it is. They're unable to spot their own luck. It's almost like I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I can't get into other people's brains and I can't take their bodies around for a test drive, and their feelings. But it almost seems like there might be a predisposition to see good fortune, as luck and fortune as being the same thing. A resentment of fortune. The same person on Facebook used the term outrageous fortune. And I asked for clarification. They just said all fortune is outrageous. So that's a difference in opinion, right? I'm thinking that every person born that takes breath number 1 is already a victor, where I think that person would see every person born having to take the first breath as being a victim, not a victor, a victim, burdened by life, that they have been foisted into an unlucky circumstance, that having never been born, that nothingness, that peaceful nothingness of pre-consciousness is preferred over everything else. But what I'm curious about is, do they really feel that way when pressed, when presented with these options that I'm trying to present here and not doing a very good job of? Can you teach people gratitude? Or is gratitude just an overwhelming lucky feeling that happens from a certain set of chemicals and DNA, that either you have it or you don't? And can you imagine not having gratitude? I mean, gratitude's such a wonderful feeling, to be grateful for. Because gratitude knows no social class. It's not restricted. You'll find the poorest of poor people who feel extreme gratitude for that which they've been given, or that which they have, or the circumstances in which they find themselves, and same with the upper end. To me, it seems almost as if it's the ability to feel gratitude and to recognize your good fortunes for what they are, and then maybe use all that luck or that vision, that perception of luck, to your advantage to create more opportunities. Back to Jeff Bezos, I look at a guy, I feel the inclination to sometimes take shots at these big billionaires, or these people that are public, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates even, these people who have set their course of life, It's easy, even Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, I have to be honest here too. I'm really skeptical of his motives. But when I measure any of these people's lives against my life, what have I provided to people? Have I provided any jobs for people? A few. I mean, a little bit. By owning property or whatever, and partaking in their system. I'm providing content, but God, am I employing thousands of people? providing thousands of jobs, providing a system, a place to go and work, a purpose. What purpose do I provide for people? What checks, what paychecks am I signing? To be upset with these, to be highly critical of these people, these producers, these doers, while sitting here and having never really done that, it seems to be, that seems like it would be an incredibly arrogant position to take, to just throw jabs without considering the whole scheme of things. But of course, it's a popular thing to do, and I'm also willing to consider, that the simple life might be better. I'm skeptical of the ambition. I'm skeptical. Maybe the world would be better without Amazon. I don't know. Maybe it would be. Maybe the speed and the delivery and maybe without the jobs, maybe without Amazon warehouse jobs, all these people would be back in the fields and hunting and gathering and farming and just spending times with their family, shucking corn, drying corn, storing it for the winter, building trees, planting trees, harvesting them, stacking wood, keeping their cellar, but building a root cellar to keep the vegetables cool year round. Maybe that would be better. Maybe their ambition for doing that, maybe it creates a problem, Maybe they are the problem. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think anybody who has an Amazon job has a nice life? Do any of them feel grateful for their job? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what is lucky and what isn't lucky. But the conversation does lead to the difference between gratitude and ingratitude. And most of gratitude is attitude. I'm sure somebody said that before. But, and what a cliche, terrible thing to say. But it's true. Gratitude is maybe just a conjunction of great attitude. You think that's so? I haven't looked up the epidemiology. What is that? Is that the word? It's being hung up on the word. No, not epidemiology. It's the study of the diseases. Epistemology. Kind of fun to get hung up. The word that describes the studies of words is a hard word to remember. That's kind of fun. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, but because really I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm recording myself working out thoughts in my mind, and you happen to be listening to it, and I don't really know why I'm sharing these things with you. I don't know if it's helpful, because I wonder if you can even change a person's attitude at all. I'm wondering, I'm becoming doubtful. I'm doubtful about everything, but the idea that you can implant gratitude into others, which to me is nothing more than a realistic vision of the physics of everything. And it really is about luck, about this ability to just simply recognize the improbability that you even exist. Right there, again, I just hammer this home, but you're a victor against unfathomable odds, but is it even possible to steer somebody into that way of thinking? Or is it a genetic predisposition to either be glass half full or glass half empty? Which is by the way, it's an idiom that's always bothered me, because I always just think, who gives a shit? Just fill the glass back up. There's no shortage of liquid. I go over to the tap, fill up your fucking glass. It's not a big deal. Anyway, I hope, and that's another conversation. What is hope? But I hope that I hope that a person can influence the attitude of another person. I hope that you can instill a sense of gratitude into people. Because I feel like when you have gratitude, when you're able to take that physical position or that perspective, the perspective of gratitude seems to be such a edifying position. To be able to find the miracles everywhere you look. That seems so helpful to me than to see everything as a burden, everything as a problem, everything is a barrier, everything is a hurdle, instead of an opportunity. And it's really those choices, Is it a burden or is it an opportunity? Is it an obstacle or is it a challenge? Are you depressed that it has come and presented itself to you, or do you feel grateful and lucky that you have the opportunity to tackle it? And as I say that, it occurs to me, it just dawned on me that whoever coined the term failing upwards was probably not even thinking how I was thinking. They were probably actually explaining what the process of progress is. It's a long litany of hurdles and challenges. Faced, many of them failed. You get back up and you fail again. Then you keep going and you move forward. You move upward through those failures. So whoever coined that term probably wasn't even joking. It was probably meant as an inspirational way. I mean, literally, you got some people crying and they're victims of their hurdles. Meanwhile, you've got people literally climbing rock walls and setting up hurdles intentionally to jump over them. They literally set up an obstacle course. While one group is whining and complaining about all the hurdles and obstacles, there are others who are trying to devise bigger, more fantastic obstacles for themselves. They're creating them for themselves on purpose because somehow, some way, they have embraced and understood and become grateful for them. So much that they seek them out and create them for themselves. It really does seem to be an attitude thing. Anyway, I feel lucky to be able to make this podcast for basically nothing and share it with you, mostly random strangers. Thanks for listening.